Hi friends, returning back to our chapter number 1, we had first finished concept of physics, then we had taken branches of physics, and now we move over to fundamental forces in nature. Now regarding the force, we know very well a scientist named Newton did certain, he was working motion, and during the study of motion, while studying motion, he found that there is something required for starting motion, something is required for starting motion, for stopping motion, and third to change speed or velocity. For these three things during motion, something is required, and that something required for starting motion, stopping motion, or changing the speed, that entity was given the name force. So force is a quantity or an entity which is required for starting, stopping, and changing speed. Newton was the first person to give the concept of force. After Newton gave the concept of force, many different scientists started working and they created a list of forces. So now we have a very large list of forces, but out of these forces, there are four fundamental forces. Fundamental means basic forces. Other all forces are combination of these four forces. What are these four fundamental forces? Scientists worked out and found out that there are four fundamental यानी कि basic forces in nature. These are first gravitational force, second fundamental forces electromagnetic force, third fundamental forces strong force, or many times we use word nuclear along with it. So strong nuclear force, and the fourth one, and the fourth fundamental force is weak nuclear force. So they came over to these four fundamental forces, and other all forces available in nature apart from these are combination of one or more than one of these. And one or more forces combined together may form other forces. Out of all these forces, these four are the basic ones. We need to study them. No doubt we'll be studying these forces in details as we go on in our 11th and 12th standard. But right now in this chapter, we have to take a brief synopsis of these four forces. Synopsis means we'll be just taking an idea what they are. We'll not go into much detail of it. It'll be just an idea for what are these forces. We'll be dealing with them step by step. Now while studying each force, I'll be telling you that when it will come in details during our 11th and 12th also. Okay, so these are the four fundamental forces. We'll be taking them one by one. So now taking the first force, that is gravitational force. Gravitational force is a force which acts among the particles by virtue of their masses, by virtue of mass. It is the mass due to which gravitational force comes into existence. These forces are strictly attractive in nature. These are attractive forces. Now, between two bodies, there is a gravitational force acting, and its value can be obtained. Its value obtained using Newton's law. You have studied this law in 7th or 8th standard. Let's recollect it. Suppose there are two particles. One has mass m1, another has mass m2, and having distance r between them. Two particles of mass m1 and m2 separated by a distance r. Then the force of gravitation acting between them is directly proportional to product of their masses. Force of gravitational attraction between the two is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. So this gravitational force is given by this property. This is the statement of Newton's law. Combining these two, what we get is F proportional to m1 m2 upon r square, and to remove this proportionality we put a constant, and as a constant you very well know that we use G, where G is called universal gravitational constant, whose value is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton into meter square upon kg square. That's its unit. Now, its value can be obtained using this formula. In this formula, we can clearly see that the two particles M1 and M2, they attract each other. So, this is always attractive in nature. Further, if suppose one of them has a mass 0, one of the particle has mass 0, then what will happen to the value of force? Take anyone as 0, the force will become 0. And this force comes into existence only if mass is present with the body. If a body has mass, then definitely it will attract gravitationally. So every body having mass has some gravitational attraction, and therefore this is a force by virtue of mass. Mass is a required quantity for the given force to exist. Now this force, it's a long range force, yani acts at a large distance also. It's a long range force that's act at a large distance also. We know that sun attracts all the planets moving around it, and that's quite a large distance. So this force, gravitational force, is a long range force. Secondly, it does not require any medium in between. It does not require any medium is not needed between the two. It does not require, we call the medium in between as intervening medium. It does not require intervening medium. Means if some medium is present between the two particles, then it's fine. If not present, it doesn't matter. And this force can act even though there is a vacuum between the two particles. Between Earth and Sun, beyond Earth's atmosphere, there is a vacuum. And even though gravitational force of Sun acts on Earth, Earth attracts Moon. Between Earth's atmosphere and Moon, there is a gap, and that's again a vacuum. Then also the gravitational force acting. Therefore, medium का होना जरूरी नहीं है. अगर हो तो ठीक है, नहीं हो तो भी चलता है. That's what is the meaning of it does not require any medium. If medium is there, that's fine. If not there, doesn't matter. If medium is present, does it depend on the medium? It does not depend on type of medium also. It does not depend on type of medium. Which medium it is, it doesn't matter. If suppose between two particles there is some air, then some force will act. If instead of it there will be water between the two, will the force change? Obviously not, because it does not depend on the medium. Here, it depends on the mass of the two particles and the distance in them. G is a constant universally, it does not change. So medium in between does not affect it. Further, it is the weakest force. It is weakest force. Out of the four fundamental forces, this is the weakest force. Now, weakest means what? The lowest value out of the four. We find that gravitational force, we have many examples of it. You can give a lot many of examples. I am leaving a pen here, it comes down immediately. It does not wait for a while. थोड़ी देर बाद चलते हैं, ऐसा भी नहीं है. It is immediately attracted by Earth. It falls down due to gravitational force. If the force immediately acts and the body comes down immediately, that means the force might be considerable. But this considerable force is also weakest. We can say that gravitational force is omnipresent, present everywhere. Then also it's the weakest force. The body release immediately comes down, then also the force is weakest. If this is the weakest force, then how much strong would be the stronger force? We'll discuss it later on. Now you can give many examples. Just create your own examples. I have given some in notes, some examples in notes. You can create your own examples also. Put 2 or 3 examples. Okay. So this is regarding gravitational force. Pause the video. Read the notes. Hope you are now clear about this gravitational force. Now we move over to the second type of force, that is second type of fundamental force, that is electromagnetic force. It's a combination of 2 words, electric and magnetic. So that's electromagnetic force. We'll first discuss electric force and then we'll discuss the magnetic force and then we'll take the combination. First, regarding electric force. Electric force means it is the force acting between the two bodies or the particles by virtue of electric charge present in them. See, gravitational force was by virtue of mass. Gravitational force was by virtue of mass. This is by virtue of charge. any particle or any body can possess mass and can possess charge also. How can you say that there is some charge present? You'll say that many of the bodies surrounding us are chargeless, neutral, no charge in them. No, it's not that. Every body, every particle has some charge in it. How come? We know that every body, every particles are made up of molecules, atoms. At the lowest level, it's atoms, and in atoms we know there is a nucleus in which protons and neutrons are there, and electrons revolving around it. Electrons are negative in charge, protons are positive in charge. So every atom has a positive and negative charge in it. No, it's balanced, therefore it comes out to be neutral but not chargeless. Charges are present in every body. Now, the force acting between two particles or the bodies by virtue of their charge is called electric force. This electric force may be attractive, may be repulsive. Attractive or repulsive. Why? We know that like charges repel each other, unlike charges attract each other. So this force is attractive as well as repulsive in nature. Its value obtained using Coulomb's law. A scientist named Coulomb has given a law using which we can find out the electric force acting between two charged particles. Suppose there is one particle, another particle, one having charge q1, another having charge q2, separated by a distance r. Then force of attraction or repulsion, yani electric force acting between the particles, is directly proportional to product of their charges and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. Combining both of them, what we get is F proportional to q1 q2 upon r square. Proportionality हटाएं, constant लगाएं, तो placing a constant instead of proportionality, we put a constant k here, so k q1 q2 upon r square. Here k is a constant which is called Coulomb's constant. It's called Coulomb's constant and its value is 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square upon Coulomb square. That's regarding the formula in which k is there. Now, this is the formula for force acting between electric force acting between two charged particles. If these are like charges, means if they both are positive or both are negative. If they are like charges, then they repel each other. If they are unlike charges, one positive or negative, then it's a attractive force. So this force is attractive as well as repulsive in nature. This force is also a long range force, can act at a large distance also. Okay. Now this formula can be further written as, just for your knowledge, the formula can also be written as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 into q1 q2 upon r square. So here k is this value which depends on epsilon 0, which is a quantity for a vacuum. Yani if the medium changes, this changes and so k also changes. Here k depends on the medium present in between. Here k is a constant and this value given constant is for vacuum. This value is for vacuum. Means if there is some medium between the two, then the value changes. So this force depends on the medium between the two charges. No doubt, it does not require any medium. It does not require intervening medium. Means if the medium is present in between, then it's fine. If medium is present between the two, then it's fine. If it is not present, then also it doesn't matter. The force does act, but it does depend on, it depends on intervening medium. And it depends on the medium in between. It is not independent of the medium. Means what? If there is vacuum, if forces value suppose F1, then suppose let's say some value 10 Newton. If vacuum force is 10 Newton, then instead of vacuum if it is air, then the value will be somewhat different. It is water, then the value will be different. Place a paper or wood or anything else. As the medium between the two changes, the value of force changes. That means it depends on the intervening medium. In case of gravitational force, we found that it does not require a medium and even does not depend on it. But here electric force does depend on it, on the medium in between. Further, gravitational force was weakest force. This is 10 raised to 36 times stronger than gravitational force. 10 raised to 36 times stronger than gravitational force. You can imagine the strength of this force. 10 raised to 36 means 1 followed by 36 zeros. Imagine the largeness of the number. That much and stronger than the gravitational force. This is regarding electric force. Now coming on to magnetic force. Second part is magnetic force. Magnetic force is by virtue of magnetism possessed by the body. By virtue of magnetism possessed by the body. This force is again attractive as repulsive. Attractive as well as repulsive forces. Why? We know that like poles in magnets, there are poles, north pole and south pole. We know that like poles repel each other while unlike poles attract each other. So same situation here also. Now we need not go into the formula. It's again a long range force and also does not require a medium, depends on the medium. So all the properties goes the same. Only the formula we have not to take. This is regarding magnetic force. We need not go into more details of this here. Now we also know that we have studied in 10th standard that electric current passing through wire produces magnetic field around it. This was suggested by a scientist named Oersted. And the reverse, magnetic field produces electric current. That was suggested by Faraday. That means electric and magnetic effects are mutual convertible. Due to that, electric and magnetic force are also connected. And therefore, the combined name comes electromagnetic force. This electromagnetic force is, remember well, it is 10 raised to 36 times stronger than the gravitational force. It can be asked as fill in the blank or MCQ. That's regarding electromagnetic force. So coming over to the third type of force, that is strong nuclear force. Now regarding the strong nuclear force, we take a base like this. Suppose this is a nucleus. We know that nucleus is made up of protons and neutrons. Nucleus made up of protons and neutrons. Suppose the shaded ones are protons. These shaded ones are protons. Now between proton, see there are three possible combinations of interaction between them. One is proton-proton, second is proton-neutron, and third is neutron-neutron. We know that proton-proton are positive in charge. So between them, the force acting is Coulombian Coulombian force, let's say. And this Coulombian force is repulsive in nature. And further, it's a long range force. It's repulsive in nature and long range force. Means what? This force acting between the protons within the nucleus is repulsive because both are like charges. Further, they are long range forces. Matlab, a proton lying on one of the end will be repelling proton on the other end. It can repel the proton on the other end also. On the other side, this proton will repel this proton. So each proton will repel each other. As being long range forces, we find that all the protons will be repelling each other. Neutrons are neutral in charge, so they cannot exert any force. So between proton and neutron there will be no force. Between neutron and neutron there will be no force. So for us, what there is present is between proton out of the three combination, only proton will be repelling each other, nothing else. So within the nucleus, if we think the overall picture, there should be a resultant repulsive force only, because other two combinations do not have any force. Okay, so there is a resultant repulsive force between the nucleus, and due to this repulsive force, it is expected that the nucleus should be broken. Nucleus should be broken. In the nucleus, between protons, there is a resultant repulsive force, hence the nucleus should break. It should not remain intact because of the repulsive force. But then also, we find that the cruelty of the nature is, we find that neutrons are the most sturdiest material in this world. Most sturdiest means what? They are quite stable. It's very difficult to break them. Difficult means उनको तोड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है. And if we break any one nucleus, if we by chance break any one nucleus, immense energy is released. It can blow up entire city. अगर एक न्यूक्लियस फोड़ दिया तो पूरा सिटी गायब हो सकता है. Now the question is in the mind. If there exists a resultant repulsive force in the nucleus, then also how is it a sturdiest material? How is it possible? Even though there exists a resultant repulsive force in the nucleus, then also it is the sturdiest material in this world. Why? How is it possible? Then scientists did some work and they came out of that work, they came out to the conclusion that between proton-proton, proton-neutron and neutron-neutron, there exists certain attractive type of forces. Certain attractive type of forces which are short range in nature. Short range. And as far as these forces are concerned, there is no difference between a proton and a neutron. As far as these forces are concerned, there is no difference between proton or a neutron. Means it does not care whether it is a proton or a neutron. Between any two particles of the nucleus, it happens. Therefore, these protons and neutrons are collectively called nucleons. They are the members of nucleus called nucleons. As we are इंडिया में रहते हो तो इंडियंस, अमेरिका में रहते हो तो अमेरिकन, वैसे न्यूक्लियस में रहते हो वैसे न्यूक्लियंस. So protons and neutrons are collectively called nucleons. So these type of forces act among nucleons, and this force acting among nucleons is called nuclear force. And nuclear force कहने से ज्यादा बेहतर क्या है? The total of this force is so much high that it easily overcomes the Coulombian repulsive force. It easily overcomes this force, and hence it is called strong force, and which keeps the entire nucleus bound. This is called strong force. The total of this. Now, regarding this force, how can it be an attractive force? How can neutron attract each other? The reason is not yet known. The reason is not yet known. Then also, this force does exist because nucleus is highly sturdy material. Now, there is one logic behind it, that neutrons and protons are further made of small particles called quarks. It was found that protons and neutrons are further made up of quarks, and this is the force. This force might be existing between the quarks, so it's also called quark force. It's also called quark force. इससे आगे कुछ पता नहीं है इसके बारे में. हाँ, पर इतना पक्का है कि there is certain attractive force which is quite strong. That total becomes quite strong, and for this force there is no difference between a proton and neutron. That is, it acts among nucleons, and it easily overcomes the repulsive force. And that's the reason why the nucleus is so much strongly bound. And when a nucleus is broken, this tremendous bonding breaks and immense amount of energy is released, which can lead to a nuclear bomb. Nuclear bomb, disaster created by nuclear bomb, or energy produced in a nuclear reactor, is this force which is released. So that's all regarding strong nuclear force. Also, regarding nuclear force, we say that it is the strongest type of force. Out of all fundamental forces, it is the strongest force, and it is 100 times that of electromagnetic force. That's 100 times that of electromagnetic force. Means 10 raised to 38 times gravitational force. That is 10 raised to 38 times that of gravitational force. Now we talk about the fourth type of force, that is weak nuclear force. Weak nuclear force means what? It is purely a hypothetical force. It's not yet practically proved. It's a hypothetical force. Hypothetical means it's just a theoretical base, no yet experimentally proved. Regarding weak nuclear force, what we say is that from the nucleus, we know that heavy nuclei emit radiations that are called radioactive radiations. We have studied about them, alpha, beta and gamma rays. You are very well knowing about it. In somewhere 9th and 10th you have studied this radioactive radiations, alpha, beta and gamma radiations. Now, when a beta radiation is emitted, from the nucleus, heavy nucleus, along with that another particle also comes, and that particle is called neutrino. Neutron is nothing but an energy packet. It's an energy packet. It's not a concrete particle. It's just a packet of energy which comes out along with a beta particle. Now, when a beta radiation is emitted, a beta particle is emitted, at that time, along with beta particle, a neutron is emitted. Now, why does neutrino come out? There is no reason behind it. Beta particle was coming out, therefore it came. Acha, can there be an independent emission of neutrino? That is, without beta particle, only neutrino getting emitted? No, not found. Neutrino is emitted only when beta particle comes out. Along with that it comes. And not every time. Every time beta particle comes out, neutrino comes, that's not necessary. It's just probabilistic, based on probability. So, a beta particle getting emitted, along with that neutrino comes out. What's the reason? No one knows. Scientists have said that this neutrino must be loosely bound with in the nucleus, loosely bound in the nucleus, and hence comes out along with it, and comes only along with beta particle. It does not come independently. So that bomb, that force of with which neutrinos bound in the nucleus is called weak nuclear force. Now, concept is something like this: beta particle is getting emitted, so neutrino comes out. It doesn't matter whether it's not necessary that neutrino must be emitted. Got it? So that's regarding weak nuclear force. But then also this is not the weakest force. Weakest force is gravitational force. So if we put them in ascending order, so very first comes gravitational force, thus weakest force, gravitational force. Then comes weak nuclear force. Then comes electromagnetic force. And finally comes the strong nuclear force in the ascending order. Now, if we take gravitational force as 1, then electromagnetic force is 10 raised to 36 times, and this will be 10 raised to 38 times. Weak nuclear force की बात करें 10 raised to 13 times. So taking gravitation the weakest as 1, we get this. Other way round, you can reverse it. If you take this as 1, then this will be 10 raised to minus 2, 10 raised to minus 25, and this will be 10 raised to minus 38. Okay, so either way around it can be. That's regarding the fundamental forces in nature. Weakest being the gravitational and strongest being the strong nuclear force. Now just reminding you, gravitational force will be studying in chapter number 8 in 11th standard. In 11th standard we'll be studying gravitational force in chapter number 8 in full details. Electromagnetic force will be studying in chapter number 1 and 5 in 12th standard. Strong nuclear force will be studying in chapter number 13 in 12th standard. Weak nuclear force also will be covering in chapter number 13 in 12th standard. So we'll be dealing with this force later on in full details in the respective chapters. So that's all regarding fundamental forces in nature. Go through the notes. If you find any difficulty or any doubt, just call me.